Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on Rogers TV, Channel 22. Welcome to Levantine Tales, Hakaya Shamiya. I am your host, Hadi Wess, and I am so happy to be back with you on a new season. I hope you are all doing well. To dive in to our topic, our journey today is to a different world we've never been to before on this show, the world of weddings and wedding planning. The world of magic, others call it. I'm very pleased to greet today at the studio Ms. Yana Zeiti, the founder and lead planner of Societé Events. Welcome to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, a very obvious question. What should couples do when they get engaged?
Get a planner.
Or maybe get Yana?
Get me, exactly.
Tell us about the vision.
Yeah, so no, but in all honesty, the first thing that couples should do when they get engaged is enjoy their engagement. So that process, however long it is, you don't want to be stressed out from the very get-go. Couples should enjoy themselves, see what they love, and start planning in peace. But get a planner for sure.
That's a good point. So getting a planner reduces the stress during the engagement period of time and then gets couples to enjoy it more.
Exactly.
Stress-free. I mean, it's impossible not to be stressed when you have a wedding coming up, whether you're planning it or not.
Oh yeah, it's inevitable.
But tell us more about why Yana, why La Société Events, what sparked that project, what got Yana Zeiti into wedding planning?
So actually, it's a very cute story, but I was jumping job to job and I felt very unfulfilled. Doing every job that I was in because it just wasn't my passion. And when I moved back to Canada from Dubai, it was my best friend's wedding and I was the maid of honor and the MC at that wedding. And she was very distraught, I guess, a little disorganized at the beginning. So when I came, I was like, okay, let's get this done, bam, bam, boom. And the day of her wedding is when I knew that I wanted to do this forever. It was very stressful, but at the same time, it was like, oh my God, like, I love this. Like, this is a high. So that's what initially got me into wedding planning, and then it just kind of skyrocketed from there.
So from a maid of honor to a forever wedding planner.
Exactly, from a maid of honor to a fairy godmother.
Way to go, Yana. Okay, so La Société Events. I mean, what sets that apart from other wedding planning businesses? What sets Yana Zeiti's trademark apart?
So I believe in not focusing so much on trends. I believe that couples should focus on what makes them unique. And I honestly believe that weddings are a time for couples to basically tell their story, their love story. So La Société Events is different because I guess in a way I try to take away from trends and make couples focus on what makes them unique, and that way create more unique weddings.
It might be a naive or a very obvious question, but why La Société?
Why La Société?
What inspired the name?
I've always been really into like aesthetically pleasing things, and I guess the words are no different, but La Société just kind of stood out to me because it's kind of like in French, English translation, it's the society, right? So the society, it kind of signals luxury, it signals elegance. So that's why I chose La Société. It's just it's an elegant ring to it.
And even more elegance to do it in French.
Exactly. Exactly.
Pretty nice. Okay, so in a wedding planning business, you probably plan dozens and dozens and dozens of weddings. How do you manage to make each wedding feel unique and personalized to each couple?
The best advice that I can give in this sense is try to get the couple not to go by trends and not to focus on what their guests would want or what their family members would want, but to focus on their love story and what makes them unique and add bits and parts of that into the wedding. The most beautiful weddings that I've done and that I've seen actually have that unique touch to them. They're not so much of the trends.
For us as guests, for example, or for couples that are attending, like that are in their own wedding, things seem to be in a certain manner. Guests will see certain things, but obviously there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yes.
I mean, it's probably impossible to describe all of that in today's episode, but what are some of these things that go on behind the scenes that make this wedding look perfect that a wedding planner do?
Okay, so basically what a wedding planner will do behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes into it, from contacting the vendors, staying in contact throughout the entire engagement process, throughout the entire wedding day, from, even the bits and pieces like learning, wedding planners have to learn how to sew. They have to learn how to, take away stains from different type of fabrics. So this all goes into wedding planning behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see what we do, but it's very specific to a T. We do everything basically. So kind of what I said in the beginning, fairy godmother, I really meant that. You're handling everything from contracts to what the couple wants to, how the mother reacts when she sees her son or her daughter, for example. So kind of like a therapist plus a fairy godmother.
Nice. What are, in your opinion, some of the mistakes, and I don't mean to generalize or to, to shame or, make others feel guilty, but what are some of the mistakes that you think couples will do in the process of wedding planning?
I touched on it a little bit in my previous question, but I think it's important to repeat. The biggest mistake that I'll see couples do is, one, not enjoy their time while wedding planning, and, kind of go through that stress period where they lose a little bit of that spark, I see. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I would say the biggest thing, is following trends and not doing what they love for their wedding. So, I see a lot of people come to me and they say, well, I see that ivory and whites are in, do you think we should? I'm like, what do you love? What do you love? Do you love the whites, or do you love the flamboyant colors or the boldness? So I like to see couples do what they love, and that avoids, having them kind of.
So how do you deal with it? Do you have a conversation with the couple? Do you have a conversation with the people that are influencing them? How do you deal with such situation?
Yeah, of course. So the conversation is ongoing with the couple at all times, but you can kind of tell when you meet a couple at first how they talk about certain things. So like, for example, if their eyes don't light up when they say we want baby breath flowers, then you know that they want the sunflowers and the flamboyant roses or whatever. So I try to get an image just from the outside by looking at them, what kind of vibe they're giving. Do they give bold, fierce? Do they give kind of more laid back, trend, safe? And I go based off of that. But the conversation is always there at every period, whether it's discussing what they want for their first song, how they want to cut their cake, how they want to enter, their grand entrance. So just trying to get them to bring out their unique side.
Nice. And not to mention as well, probably a lot of connections with a lot of vendors, like the photographers, the videographers, the decorators, etc. I mean, people, in my opinion, couples that are about to embark on their wedding journey face a challenge. I mean, several challenges, but one main challenge that I know of is budget. People have limited budgets. Sometimes people have open budgets, but oftentimes people have to stick to a budget. But how do you make sure that a couple is sticking to their budget without having to sacrifice their dream wedding?
That's a really good question. I would probably say my biggest advice to couples in that sense is to sit down and discuss with your partner what is the most important aspect of that wedding for you. So some people like to spend most of their money on food and beverage because culturally it's just in their culture to have lots of food and beverage at their weddings. Other people want that Vogue magazine type of wedding, and they're really into pictures, so they might spend more money on, the decor team or their photographer. So sit with your partner and see what matters most to you. That way you are spending your money where you need it most.
Okay. Now a little bit to talk about something you touched on, trends.
Yeah.
While you say that, you're not much into the trends, but what the couples like, what are some of the trends that you've seen in 2025, for example?
I feel like what's trending right now is a lot of multiculturalism. So I'm starting to see couples really break out of their shells when it comes to culture and tradition and incorporate a lot of their own unique traditions into their weddings, which I think it's beautiful, because what I'm starting to see as well is people that don't belong to that culture are starting to use things from different cultures, for example. So that's one of them.
But generally, like, how do you see culture and multiculturalism affecting or influencing a wedding?
Well, it's influencing because a lot of people are starting to see what other cultures do even for their weddings, and they might pick and choose certain things from different cultures that feel right to them or stand out to them and incorporate it into their weddings. So I just feel like culturally right now we're starting to expand, and couples are no longer afraid to show their unique sides in their weddings, which is it's beautiful.
It's true. I recently was in Mexico, actually, with my wife, and I did attend a Mexican, Lebanese, Palestinian wedding, and it was just undescribable, like how beautiful it was, because it actually encompassed all three cultures in a beautiful way. So when it came to the Latino songs, we could see all the Arabs jumping into the dance floor and dancing, and when it came to the Arab stuff, all the Latinos were jumping in and dancing, and it was just really beautiful to see how two cultures can merge into something so beautiful and exquisite to the eye. So
We're integrating a lot of different cultures into our own, and I think that is it's encompassing also unique styles while also being very accepting of others.
Yeah. What advice would you give to couples to make sure that their wedding planning phase or process is stress-free?
Stress-free. I would say, it's never going to be stress-free. Just from, the experience that I've had, it's never going to be stress-free, but other than marketing for myself and my business right now, I would say honestly having a planner makes the world of a difference, because having a planner really allows the couple to kind of sit back and be present throughout their phase, and having someone actually take that load off of them and take care of the things in an expert manner, professional manner.
Okay, scratch stress-free. How do you make it fun?
How do you make it fun?
What does Yana have something unique to offer to make the process fun, not just stress-free but enjoyable?
Do everything together. Do everything together. Try to get both sides of the couple involved in everything. A lot of we see it very often, but there's a lot of grooms, minus you. You were very involved in your wedding planning, but there's a lot of grooms that kind of like to sit back or feel like they don't have a say in their wedding, but then when you get them talking and going about how they envision their wedding, they love it. They have a wild time with it. So I would say probably just get the couple involved.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had a hiccup, we call it, during the wedding? Like something went not according to plan, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah. So, not to be very specific, but hiccups happen all the time. As a wedding planner, it's our job to be on our toes and very alert to everything that can happen. So I'll give you an example. Like, as a wedding planner, I have a full kit that I carry with me all the time to all my weddings. It has a sewing kit in there. It has stain removers in there.
First aid kit?
It has a first aid kit. Yeah, absolutely. It has Visine for the eyes in case someone's drinking a little too much and their eyes get red. It has everything that you could possibly imagine.
And do you ever need to use that kit?
Yeah, a lot of times you need to use it. So, that kit, like I said, we're always on our toes and we always have to be prepared. So nothing specific, but.
Generally though, how do you manage to be on top of everything during the wedding? It's a very chaotic environment. Some weddings are 50 people, but some weddings are 500 people, right? How do you manage to stay in touch and in contact with everyone and make sure that everything is flowing dynamically and smoothly?
Part of our job as wedding planners is to be very organized from the minute that we sit down with the couple to the actual wedding day. So I think just part of the job is you get used to it after a while. We have all contracts on file. We have seating charts on file. We have the names of every person in the wedding party on file, their numbers, who do we contact, So it just really depends. But the day of organization just really relies on how much organization we've done and how much work we've put into this wedding prior to the wedding day.
But in the wedding day,
Yeah.
are you at the venue, for example, or
Yeah.
are you at the groom and bride's houses? Like, where are you?
I'm jumping back and forth.
Everywhere.
I'm literally everywhere and nowhere all at once.
And the after party.
The after party, yeah. So like just using an example, like if I'm needed at the bride's house, I'm on call. I have to be at the bride's house. If I'm needed at the groom's house, I will make my way to the groom's house. I always try to visit each party before the actual ceremony, and then prior to the ceremony by like 1 or 2 hours after they go and do their photo shoot, I'm usually just at the venue making sure that all the vendors are doing what they need to do and everything is going according to what the couple wants.
Okay. Do you fly solo or do you have a team that you work with?
No, I do have a team, so you know if I need assistance, then I can get assistance, but realistically speaking, weddings usually, if I'm starting to work with a couple from the very beginning on my own, I don't necessarily need someone, but I could bring someone on board for extra hands, especially if the wedding is a bigger wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do you see weddings in the next few years?
Oh, wow. Weddings in the next few years. I mean,
where are they heading?
I mean, the industry is just expanding right now. So you've got different niches of wedding planning. You know, some people are wedding planners, but they're also florists, and then some are wedding planners and they're DJs part-time. So I think the way the wedding industry is headed is just, it's very broad. There's a lot to be done in this industry and it never stops. So really wherever the trend takes us, we go.
Can you tell us, like, what's the simplest wedding you've planned, and maybe what's the biggest wedding you've planned? Like
Simplest
just
wedding.
a vision.
Yeah, simplest wedding that I've planned was 65-person wedding. It was very intimate. It was very cute. They had only their very close family members, and to be honest, it was actually my favorite wedding because it was very small, but it was so intimate, and all the people at the wedding really wanted to be there. You know, so they were very involved in every single moment, from the photo taking to the outside walk in the venue outside, to the inside, to the dancing. Everyone was involved and on their feet. So that was actually my favorite wedding. Alongside also that couple, just to speak on the uniqueness of their wedding, they incorporated Star Wars because the groom just loved Star Wars. So they incorporated Star Wars into their wedding entrance. And that's what I mean by kind of not following the trends, you know, of like the slow walk inside. They did something out of the box, and it was so funny and it was so cool. Everyone loved it.
Okay, and that's the smallest wedding or the biggest?
That's the smallest wedding.
What about the biggest wedding you've planned?
The biggest wedding that I've done so far is 200 people.
Okay.
And honestly, everyone at that wedding was pretty organized, so I can't really complain about that wedding. It was a Middle Eastern wedding, and it was very beautiful. We saw a lot of culture in that wedding. So the couple was from 2 different areas in the Middle East. But we saw the couple really come together and their families come together, which, you know, obviously is beautiful.
Do you find it challenging sometimes or uncomfortable to have uncomfortable conversations with couples, you know? Or do you feel that proposing something to their wedding plan could be uncomfortable to you or to them?
I'm going to be honest, no. Couples come to me looking for that advice, and they really do come to me looking for an opinion most of the time. I don't feel uncomfortable having hard conversations because I feel 9 times out of 10 they really appreciate it in the end, especially because I'm the expert in the field. So a lot of times it actually relieves some stress to go to someone and have them say, no, I don't think you want to do that, or let's try this a different way, or give them a second option. So no, I feel like most of the time it goes well.
So you're always up for hard conversations.
Yeah.
I have a hard conversation for you. Okay. What's your vision for La Société Events? What's coming?
Okay, so I'm a big believer in don't talk about it until it happens.
Okay. I mean,
However,
you gotta spill something.
Yeah, right? I'll spill. So what I see for La Société Events is I see it branching out to different niches in the wedding industry. So right now we have La Société Events, which is the main wedding planning business. Down the line, I'm thinking of opening up La Société Events to different niches in the wedding industry. So that's all I'm going to say about that part.
Okay.
But I will speak on something really exciting that I did start, and it's called Wed Société. So it's an extension of La Société Events.
Okay.
And what it is, it's a wedding planning academy. So a lot of people want to get into this industry and really don't know where to start. So I'm using my knowledge and my expertise to open up a wedding planning academy. It's going to come with a full course, giving them my full experience and expertise and knowledge, and they'll be provided with a certificate at the end so that they can kickstart their journey into this business. And yeah, so that's a really exciting part of, well, an exciting extension of La Société Events,
Wow.
along with my podcast. I'm going to do a wedding industry podcast.
Wow. So that hasn't started yet, or is it coming up?
I'm launching. It's in the makes now. So
Wow.
I've already launched the Instagram page. I've already started posting the content, and the digital product is in the make.
Okay. And then one clarification, when we say people will get certificates,
Yeah.
does that suffice for the wedding planning license?
Yeah.
Or can you tell us more about what are the regulations? Are they federal? Are they provincial? Like, how
Yeah,
can
so
people get
I
into the
mean,
business?
there's no regulations on the certificate that you need to have to go into wedding planning. However, it does help when you have a background in it or some background knowledge. So that's why the course, I would say, would be a good way to start, and then your corporation or your business.
Wonderful. We wish you all the best with that.
Thank you so much.
Great events, and I'm always impressed by folks that try to just think outside the box and
Yeah.
go the extra mile, and you are a true example of that.
Thank you.
How can people reach out to you?
So phone number, Instagram, do I give my Instagram
Sure,
here?
we'll
or?
put them on the screen.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So my main wedding planning page is lasociete.events. And then for the course and the academy, it's Wed Société.
Okay, so we'll be putting that on the bottom of the screen. Yana, I wish I could go on and on because I want to hear about all your wedding stories, but we'll save that conversation to another day. Maybe one day when everything is launched on the side, the extensions and the podcast, I'd love to hear more about that. But Yana Zeiti, thank you so much for being here at the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and we wish you all the best and more continued success. And may La Société Events be La Population Events.
I love that.
There you go. So that's the biggest extension coming up. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been with Yana Zeiti with La Société Events. I've been your host, Hadi Wess, on Levantine Tales, Hakaya Shami on Rogers TV Channel 22. Wishing you all the best. See you next time.